Boom.
Hey, this is Terry Bean coming at you almost live. Unless you're here with us right now, then it's straight up live. I've got my good friend Jeff Bajorek, certified Gitomer Adviser and runner of Parabola Sales Consulting. How you doing, man?
Good morning, Terry. I'm doing great. It's
Good
Monday.
morning. Did I pronounce Parabola right? I said, dude, that name causes me stress every time I say it. I got to be honest with you.
You did, and you
Nice.
you do it. Actually, I haven't seen you stumble on it yet.
Good.
So you're good.
That's awesome. As long as there's no test on what it means and why it happens and all that, I do remember though. I do. I got it. That was a visual for those of you listening to us.
Well, I wanted exponentialgrowth.com.
Yeah.
And then whoever owned that domain,
it went to Viagra.
They wanted like $1,700 for the domain, and I told them no. And then and actually what's funny is and it actually leads right into our discussion. How funny is that? I sent a reply email and I said, okay, you want $1,700 for your domain. Can you tell me why? And I got 0 replies. And then I was on someone's automated email campaign. So every 3 weeks I'd get an email that said, hey, are you still interested in this domain? Hey, we're offering 20% off all our domains. So now not only could you not tell me why you wanted $1,700 for it, which means that the person behind it probably couldn't explain or understand the formula that created that price. And then, we'll put it on sale and see if that means anything to you. And it's like, no, just because it's cheaper now you want to, and you wouldn't offer me 20% before. You wouldn't even engage in the discussion with me. So they could not have any understanding or certainly have any discussion with why they valued that domain name at the price level that they did. And they wouldn't even engage with me. So I told them to buzz off, and I played around with the thesaurus and some ideas in my head and found something that worked. And, Google my name and then click the link. That's all you need to know.
That's it, right? I show up there, Jeff Bajorek, Google me. Right. If I were you, right? Because Google me and find Jeff Bajorek. It's probably going to happen after a couple more of these, but right now it's not quite there. Yeah, so Google Jeff Bajorek and you'll end up there. If you can spell Bajorek, Bajorek.
Easy.
All right.
Easy
So,
peasy.
yeah, right. Just exactly like it sounds, clearly. So, over the weekend, I had reached out to you because I told you a story about this golf outing we're doing. Yeah. And I had a guy who was interested, and he's like, how much? And man, pricing to me has always been a bit of a mystery in talking about the cost of things and the value of things. I don't ever feel confident and poised when I'm doing it. And I know sales 101, that's the most important thing, right? If you don't believe it, how are you going to transfer that emotion to somebody else to get them to believe it, right? If you don't believe it, they're going to feel that you don't believe it. And then they're going to be kind of sketchy about whether or not to do the deal. So I said, we've got to role play this. You've got to help me price this because I totally chickened out. How much is it, Terry? Hey man, you know what? Jeff's in charge of that. You gotta talk to Jeff, right? Because he won't even tell me. He doesn't want me to screw up the sale. So I wussed out. So you and I had a good conversation about it yesterday and decided that this would be worth having a conversation about because maybe other people have pricing challenges.
Lots of people have pricing challenges. The first exercise that I start with people is about your belief. And I posted a video about this just last week. Success starts in the mirror. So what do you really believe? Do you believe in yourself every morning when you wake up? Do you believe in the company you work for? If you're self-employed, then the answers to those questions should be very, very similar, right?
Can't believe in yourself and not believe in the company. Can't believe in the company if you don't believe in yourself. Yeah, good point, man.
Do you believe that you're able to differentiate yourself from everybody else that competes in your space? Most importantly, do you believe that your customer is better off for having purchased from you than from anybody else? Those are vital questions to answer, and you have to answer them every single morning. Maybe you don't have to physically or explicitly ask yourself those questions every morning, but you have to be able to answer them every single morning. And if you have that foundation laid, you're in good shape. If you are not at all confident, or if there's any shakiness in that foundation, everything else is going to crumble over. You're building your house on a shaky foundation. And if, the price is the last part of the transaction, how much and who do I make this out to, right? That's the end. That's the culmination of it. That's the top of the building, if you will. It's really hard to put something big and heavy, like a big price tag, on top of something with a shaky foundation. It's going to fall over. And if you sense that that building is going to fall over, you're hesitant to put that topper on it, right?
That's awesome. So hold on a second, because sure. I want to make sure that we're doing as much service and value to the people that are paying attention to this as possible.
Right.
So let's back it up a little bit. I want you to go through the questions again,
sure.
but I want to do that in a way that kind of instills a habit, right? That makes it really actionable. So, I mean, maybe someone's putting these 4 or 5 questions, writing them down, putting them on the bathroom mirror, brushing their teeth and thinking about them. How do you anchor this into your everyday life? How did you do it? You're probably not reading the questions every day still, but at one point in your life, you probably did for 30, 45 days, maybe 6 months, who knows? So tell us about that.
Yeah, this all started, and I've kind of found this exercise actually as part of one of the workshops that I work with, and it's one of the activities there. And the first time I did it, it was like, whoa. And I had already done some form of this, so I understood the value in it when I saw it, but it was just the culmination of it and put in those words. And I put my own little spin on it, but it's, do you believe in yourself? Why do you believe in yourself? Why do you believe in your company? Why do you believe and how do you believe you are able to differentiate yourself or your product or your company or whatever it is that you're selling? And we're all in sales. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
All in sales, 100%.
Fourth, how do you feel and why do you feel your customer is better off for having worked with you than anybody else? You have to believe that. And then the price is just a function of that. Right? So you believe in those 4 things and they all build on one another. And if you can't fill in those blanks or you sit and work on those questions and you get to a sticking point, go no further, fix that. Okay?
And so maybe if you have a hard time believing there's a differentiator or that your customer is better off working with you, maybe your service offering is too broad.
Right.
Maybe you're looking at it, Doug, I see you on here, and I'm not picking on you or IT guys, but I know IT guys that got into the IT business because they were great at a certain function in IT, really wanted to add value in that space, did an excellent job for their first customer, and that customer said, oh man, you were great. We love working with you because you're cool. Can you fix this problem for us? And you're a startup business, so you don't say, oh, heck no, I can't fix that. You say, heck yeah, I could fix that. In 3 years down the line, your line card or the products and services you offer are exponentially huge. And there's certain things in your business model that you really shouldn't even be touching, but you didn't say no then. So we need to figure out a way to make sure that we kind of stay in our lane and refer business out to other people that could be great business partners for us if we could get them to do the same.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other things that kind of gets lost in this is not only, well, I'm not going to say it gets lost, but it gets missed. Not only do you understand and believe why your customer's better off, but that why they're better off is actually what you're selling, right? You don't sell widgets. You sell the experience that the widget brings, because everybody's got a widget, right? Especially now that everything is, appearing at least to be commoditized or whatever. It's your software as a service platform. It's, whatever, your medical device versus your competitor's medical device, right? You don't sell the drill, you sell the hole that the drill creates, right? So now it's not, I've got the best drills in the world. It's, yeah, but look at the best. I've got these drills that are really, really good, but the specs and the features and whatever, that's fine. You don't really care about that. You want to know how nice the hole is going to be compared to what it is that the hole you're trying to create in the wall or the cement or whatever it is. So right away, you're getting the keys to the motives of why your particular customer would buy from you. And so many people, I see it, I've seen it, I've trained people out of it. It's, they just go in and they dump their brochure and they say, hey, here's all our stuff. This is cool. And this is going to work for you, right? What? Yeah. I mean, someone in marketing told me that this was going to work. And they don't realize that if they can't sell better than a piece of paper, then why does my company need you selling for me? I can send mail out, right? So you're personally delivering my sales pitch on a piece of paper. It's not tailored. It's not customized. It's not personalized. It's nothing. It shows me nothing. And very rarely do I see a piece of paper or a brochure or whatever that hits on exactly what I'm looking for. And I love getting the mail on Wednesdays because Wednesday's garbage night. And my mailbox is right across the street. So mail comes in the evening, right around when I'm doing taking the trash out. I go out, pick up my mail, walk right back, dump 80% of it into the curbside recycling bin and walk back in because none of that stuff really means anything to me at all, right? So if you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing and why your customer is better off, then you're going to have a hard time selling whatever it is you're selling, let alone telling them how much it costs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a really, really good point. Do you start then with the value proposition in your mind and then go find people that you think matches it?
Yes.
Or do you try and start with, this is the customer's need, let me create a value proposition that matches that?
It's a little bit of both. You've got to come with you've got to know, and this is part of figuring out your target market, right? And I specialize in helping people who are uncomfortable with the selling process, right? I'm kind of a middle funnel through the end of the funnel specialist. And it's not that I don't have expertise with some of the other stuff, but where I like really working with people is when they say, great, I've got people coming into me, Jeff. I've got people working with me, looking for what it is that I provide. They saw some of my marketing material. They met me at a networking event. How do I move them through the sales process? So someone comes to me for inbound marketing or prospecting help. I know my way around that, right? But I know where I help people. So I look for people that I can help the best and the most efficiently. And then, so the part of that is qualifying my prospects who look at or are looking for what I have to offer. But then once we start working together, I have to tailor and individualize what it is that they're exactly trying to do. So there's a little bit of both in there, Terry. I don't know if I really answered your question or if I totally dodged it altogether.
There was a little bit of both in there, Jeff.
Awesome.
No, I think you did a pretty good job, man. I think you did a pretty good job. So, we had talked a little bit, and I named this thing about value first, right? And then being poised and confident. I think you nailed the confident piece early on by answering those 4 questions and making sure that those become your belief system, right? Not just answering them, but living them is key, right? So
absolutely.
I think we nailed that. I think poise certainly comes from confidence, but from the perspective of, we live in a digital world and we're emailing things now, and we barely can even talk to people on the phone, let alone face to face.
Right.
Do you have any tips on delivering that pricing message? Would you ever send a quotation via email?
I have.
Okay.
I did yesterday. It happens. It's much more difficult to send an email with a pricing quotation in it. You don't get any feedback. It's like talking to a camera without anybody behind it, right? I mean, it's really, really tough. It's much easier, I think, and we've talked about this before, it's easier for you and I to have a blab, right, than it is for me to send you a video message to record a video message and email it to you and then go back and forth. There's no energy coming back from the camera, right? There's no energy coming back from the email. And you can't read body language. You can't read facial expressions, tone of voice, anything. I mean, think about how many times you've just pissed somebody off by sending them a text message. You were being a smartass, and they didn't pick up on that, and they were just offended, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, hey, right? So it's harder to do that, right? But if you're confident enough, and provided you're consistent, right? So what's the biggest drawback to sending a price quotation in an email? Well, what if that person shares that email with somebody else and I quoted them different prices? Well, that's no good. You know, now your cover's blown. But there's this thing I believe I believe a lot in this thing called integrity. And this is what it costs. Period.
I like integrity.
I'm not worried about transparency there, right? So from that standpoint, I don't have that fear in my mind. I don't have that concern in my mind. And this is what it costs. What it costs for you, it's what it costs for anybody else. So here we go. And I'll send that email off. But it depends on the email. It depends on how qualified that prospect is. It depends on where they are in the process. Someone just sends me an email and says, "Hey, Jeff, how much does that cost?" Well, why are you interested in it? What are you thinking about? Where are you at? Can I tell you a little bit more about it? Right? Someone asking for a price, that's a buying signal. They're interested. And if the price is right, they're going to buy. Right? You kick the tires on a really fancy car, you're not expecting to buy it, but if the price were right, you would buy it. Okay? So no one asks that price unless there's some level of interest, but you've got to gauge their level of interest, and then you have that conversation. So I like to have some dialogue back and forth with people ahead of time. If I don't, though, but they say, "Look, I'm really interested. I like this. The dates work, everything. I'm not sure about how much does it cost." Well, sure. Here's the email. This is what it costs. And that's what I do. That's how I approach it.
Cool. Very solid. Very solid. And so that's a little bit on email pricing. And Poised is just really mostly about how you carry yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you're either gonna look the part, like somebody's gonna buy something from you, or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting. This is the second time we've done a conversation on Blab.
Mm-hmm.
Both times have been kind of linked to this outing we're doing at the end of July, right? That's this golf and learn retreat spectacular.
Yeah.
And both times we've worn golf shirts. Now, is that coincidental, or is that because we're trying to fit this mold about it's almost like an alignment thing? Or do you wear a golf shirt every Monday morning regardless, and that's just how it is?
I don't wear a golf shirt every Monday. I can't wait to be able to wear golf shirts every day. So I woke up this morning. I went to the gym. It was freezing yesterday, raining all day. Rough day. Like, there's just a lot going on.
Snowed in the morning. It didn't rain all day. It snowed for like 3 hours yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah, we got a little bit of snow, but for the most part, where I was for the entire day, it was just raining.
God, we're 10 miles apart. I had 3 inches of snow.
We had nothing on the ground. I mean, we had some on the grass, but we didn't. I mean, I'm in Novi, right? We're not even that far away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I woke up this morning.
I have a 12-inch penis, too. I just want to make sure that we're all aligned there. So it may not have been 3 inches.
Wow. So
Monday morning. What else are you going to have?
Good morning. So anyway, I woke up this morning and went to the gym, and it was warm-ish. And I said, all right, cool, short sleeves today. And that's just where I went. But there's definitely something. I mean, we just came off a Masters weekend. And I'm thinking about hitting golf balls later this week when I get some time and the weather cooperates a little bit. And we are talking about a golf trip. So why wouldn't I wear a golf shirt? Yeah, you got to look the part.
I think that's right.
Now,
it's alignment, right?
Yeah. So that's certainly part of it. And that's part of your poise, and that's part of your confidence, and that's part of your body language and everything. You know, I'm not wearing my bright pink golf shirt right now because, I don't have one. But there's some... there's certainly some. If we're talking about golf, I'm going to wear a golf shirt, sure.
Perfect. I think that absolutely fits. I think that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. All right. So the last part, which is actually the first part, value first.
Yes.
Right. Walk us through when you're having that pricing conversation. You've talked to them. They know what they're doing, what they want. Let's use Justin, right? I teed Justin up. I said, this is what's going on. These are the dates. This is where we're going. This is the type of training it's going to be. This is the guys that are doing it. There's going to be food. There's going to be booze. There's going to be lodging. So Justin knew, right? He was kind of dialed into what the program was.
Yep.
But my guess is you reiterated all of it before you didn't just say, hey, this is the cost and, sign up fast.
No, that's not what I did. So I asked him some questions. So what are you looking for? What are you doing? How'd you hear about this? And, I told him a little bit about, I really kind of reiterated the same things that you did. And I said, I talked about the product. He asked me what the course was all about. So I laid it out for him. And I said, we're coming in on Monday afternoon. Terry's going to give us a couple hours on networking. We're immediately going to roll into a strolling buffet, kind of heavy hors d'oeuvre. It's going to be dinner. Okay, it'll be enough for dinner. I'm working with the catering on that, and it's a cocktail reception / strolling dinner. So everybody that's in that group is going to get an opportunity to practice the things that we just listened to Terry talk about for a few hours. It's going to be great. After that, we all go check into the new villas that were just built at Forest Dunes, and they were just put up last year. I haven't even seen them yet because I didn't get to Forest Dunes last year. And we're all going to sleep very comfortably because the accommodations there are wonderful. We're going to wake up, ready to rock Tuesday morning. We're going to do 3 hours on attitude and breaking a 7 to 8 hour workshop into 2 parts. So it's going to be 3.5, 4 hours on attitude. We're going to get all fired up, go grab our lunch, head out to the golf course, hit some balls, and play 18 holes on one of the best courses that you'll ever play. Then we come back and we have dinner. The next morning we repeat. Rinse and repeat. Finish that attitude workshop. Go play golf again on one of my favorite golf courses in the world, and then you're dismissed. And so not only are you getting 2 nights lodging, 2 rounds of golf, 3 lunches, 2 breakfasts, 2 dinners, and 1 cocktail reception, but all your classroom materials are included, and you're going to get a great 3 half-day workshop presented by Terry and me. And that costs $2,000. And then there have been some people that I've talked to that said, well, okay, but how much is the golf and the lodging and everything? And I said, well, no, that's all in. Oh, and let me throw one more on top of you. We got a couple of spots left for our early adopter package because this is the first time you and I are doing this. Yeah. So the first handful of people to sign up, first 8 people to sign up, we got a handful of spots left at this rate. Get in for $1,500, which hurts me a little bit because I know what you're going to get when you sign up for this. You are going to get lessons and practical applications of the fundamental building blocks of any business. Who do you know and how do you approach what you do? And that foundation of that building you're trying to create as a business can't go anywhere without that. So it's just going to be a tremendous experience. And the kicker or the topper on top of that is there's going to be 20 other people in the room who are worth knowing and worth working with and worth growing with. And you can't put a price on that.
It's pretty amazing because every time I've ever hosted a meeting like this, regardless if there's 8 people in the room or 60 people in the room, the right people always show up.
Yeah.
The fact that you're there, it attracts somebody that you're going to want to meet and know and spend time with. And then boom, you're both there. And it's cause and effect. It's literally the law of cause and effect, right? Yeah. So it's pretty powerful stuff. It's also the law of vibration. And that's just exciting. So I like how you handled it, right? So it was exactly what you get, a total recap, some of the value you receive from what you're getting. And then what was interesting to me is you mentioned the discounted price for the early bird, and that was the only time you actually gave a number. You said it was $1,500, which is 25% off.
Yeah.
But you never said the other number. So would you actually say $2,000, or is that just kind of interesting and not part of that conversation?
No, I thought I did. If I didn't, then I meant to. And if I did, then you missed it. This is what it costs. It's $2,000. I think it's undervalued at $2,000. but I think that $2,000 is also a lot of money. So I love coming in at the real value position, right? Like this is only $2,000. And when you stop and think, and that's the reason that I like to put the value up there first, right? Some people are going to hear $2,000 and they're going to just walk away. Okay, well, but can I at least tell you a little bit about why? Right? It's like with the web domain conversation that we had earlier. Tell me why $1,700 for this web domain. I think that's a really kick-ass web domain. I'd really like it, but it's not someone we're spending on, and they wouldn't even engage me in that. If they made the right proposition, if they established enough value, I probably would have bought it. Okay. So when people say, how much is it? I want to know why they're asking. Would you like to know a little bit more about it? Are you just kicking the tires on this? What is it that you want? But you lay that out there. And the idea, if you're doing your job, is you come in and you say, yeah, it's $2,000. And they say, okay, well, then how much does the golf cost?
Right. Absolutely.
Right? That's the point. And, you know, when you realize and when you believe that that $2,000 is a steal, when it really hurts me, I don't want to say it hurts me. I'm a good guy. I'm not trying to take money from anybody, but I am trying to make a living, right? I know what we have is worth $2,000 and it's a steal. To go to $1,500, it's like, wow, take advantage of this because you're not going to find a better value. And if you don't want that value, there are people in line behind you who do. And that's what I believe, right? So we get back to that belief system we talked about. It also means I'm not hurt. My feelings are not hurt if you don't want to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
I don't see $1,500 walking away. I see someone who didn't appreciate the value in it, and they're not going to then be as valuable of a contributor to the group.
And that makes perfect sense, right? Because it's really about creating that right synergy between the people that are there. If you just joined us, we talked about holding the right belief system early on, right? And that there were 4 questions that you really need to ask yourself to make sure that you're as dialed in, because you can't actually talk about price and how much until you fully are aligned with the price. Jeff mentioned that it's almost like, you know, the price is like the roof. And if you're putting the roof on a shaky foundation, we all know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, Jeff, do you want to hit those 4 questions one last time? Because I want to make sure that they're done properly.
Sure. Why do you believe in yourself? Why do you believe in your company? How and why do you believe that you are able to differentiate yourself from your competition? That could be how and why, how or why. I think maybe it's 6 questions, Terry. And how or why do you believe that your customer is better off for having purchased from you? And I've actually put that together. I have a little worksheet that I use in my workshops. Anybody wants to send me an email, jeff@parabolasales.com. I will send that document over to them. Everything's written out there. And then you get an opportunity to actually sit and write and work those questions out. And it's also a nice document to refer back to, right? So you don't have to continually ask those questions and write them down. You write it out, put it out there, and then read them every morning, whatever it takes. But that foundation is the most important thing that you need to do anything. A foundation is the most important part of any project.
I literally said that we need to take those 4 questions, write them down, tape them right on the bathroom mirror. So when you're brushing your teeth, you're seeing it every morning, because the only way to actually change a belief is to make it a new habit, right? I was watching this goal setting video by a guy named John Assaraf yesterday and Saturday. Great guy. He was one of the dudes in The Secret, and he's a neuroscientist studier, right? He's not a neuroscientist, but he pays attention to all the changes in how brains work. And it's really cool. So he was talking about goal setting, and he was talking about habits. And he said the thing about habits is we have triggers, we have routines, and we have rewards. George is on here, and he mentioned something about I haven't even finished my coffee yet, right? So every morning people wake up, the first thing they do is they have that cup of coffee, right? So the trigger is I woke up. The routine is I go grab a coffee, and the reward is I feel a little spice. I feel a little extra shot of energy. So what they've learned is you can keep the trigger and you can keep the reward. And if you change the routine, you can actually change a lot of things. So instead, you wake up, instead of going to grab that cup of coffee, you go for a 2-minute walk.
Right.
You're still going to end up with that surge of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So we can actually change these things. So instead of just getting up and brushing our teeth, now we can get up, brush our teeth, and actually go through this mental exercise of asking those 4 to 6 questions that you just laid out so eloquently for us. And when you do, right, when you change that belief system about who you are, having this conversation about price becomes easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about it. If you are concerned with how someone is going to feel about your price, it really just reflects how you feel about your price.
Right. 100%.
And if you don't think that feeling is going to be transmitted through your delivery, you're wrong. Right. So we got to start back. How do I feel about this? Right. That's what it's about. I love selling products and working with companies that sell products that are more expensive than the next guys, because I've got to work harder as a salesperson. Right. The race to the bottom of, well, I'll just do it cheaper. Well, you know what? You lose business the same way you get it. And if you're $1 cheaper than the next guy, then you're going to lose that business to someone who's $1 cheaper than you. And the only thing worse than entering and winning a race to the bottom is coming in second, because you don't even get the business. Right. So I don't enter.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So this is kind of cool. Blab has put on a new feature.
Okay.
That you can actually share the last 30 seconds of a blab, right? So you can actually engage people by doing that. So if you look in the left corner, it says share last 30 seconds. Yeah. I don't know if everyone else has that. If you're in here, can you tell me? You can share it to Twitter. You can share it to Facebook. Yeah, cool, Doug. Thank you. So you can just kind of encapsulate what just happened and say, hey, this is what's going on in here. Come on in. But that's relatively new. I've been on this blab thing since July or August of last year. So the amount of change and evolution that's gone on here is pretty slick. I think we kind of knocked this one out of the park, man. Do you have any last tips that you want to share or talk about?
No, I think we've covered it.
I think we've covered it. Do you have any questions if you're sitting here watching this? I know a couple of you got in a little bit later, so the first half is pretty interesting. You may want to check out the recording. See, perfect. Jeff needs more fans. This is good.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hold on, Social Colby. Just click over Colby Stellhorn. Thank you, Colby. I'm gonna float through the rest of my day right now. Knowing that I made a new friend. That's awesome.
Perfect. Well, very, very good. If anybody wants to hop in, we can unlock this seat, because I'm going to pause this recording. And thanks for paying attention.
Oh, and Pen Aim 2016. This is